you.
Thank you, Melania. Thank you. I really, I really happy and appreciate for your hard effort for me.
Anshul has also joined. Anshul should join for the vote of thanks at the end. Okay, Milani, please start.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for bearing with us. My apologies, but we know that sometimes technology, I don't know, I think sometimes technology likes to play up with me. Every time I have a huge, a really important event, it tends to test me. So my apologies for that to begin with. Welcome, everybody. You know that Women Power show every Saturday is always very, very special. But I think, Mr. DK Bakshi, you will agree that today is extra special. My goodness, it's one of those things that you never want to go through. But now that there is a happy ending, we're so delighted, so honored to have our guest of honor today. She's a real guest of honor. She's a woman of excellence. She's a woman of courage. She is someone we have admired from day one on Women Power. And I just couldn't be happier to welcome her to the show today. Farukh, Unchizada, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to life. Let me just
Thank
say
you
that.
very much. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
We love
Milani.
you, we respect you, and we admire you. So thank you for being here with us, because we know it's not easy for you. So I really want to acknowledge the fact that you're here with us and you're being extra brave, as you have always been. So over to you, Mr. Bakshi.
I got a cry because what you said, we admire her, we respect her, and we love her.
Yes.
She has been part of our Women Power from the beginning, and she has been running Women Power in Afghanistan and supporting and attending programs and conveying. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning in US, Canada, Europe, good afternoon, and good evening in Asia Pacific. As Milani, one of my greatest Women Power, chapter head of Spain, Milani Falve, she is also involved in this movement from day one. As she said, today is a very special day because I want to tell you to the world today, just 15 days back, this Farukh, when I was talking to her on WhatsApp, she was crying, and she was saying, Mr. DK, I cannot even see from the window. Taliban is looking for me. And me and Milani spoke, and we were trying how these women can come out. Anyhow, I don't want to have that story now because we will unfold that story with actual person who has gone through pain. I am in pain because I know her. I am in pain because I know another 110, 120 women of Afghanistan who hold a lot of great positions and who are educated, who are not illiterate. They're educated women and they're all into, I don't know what. Ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed a very special program. It's very closer to my heart. It's very closer to my chapter head, Spain, Milani's heart. We have been talking, discussing, sharing thoughts. What do we do? And I welcome those who are on Zoom, and I welcome those who are on YouTube or Global Talent Television or on Facebook. We will keep on looking at you, and please raise your questions. This is going to be an important evening today. And I would request my colleague and my friend and one of the best women power of this entire movement. She also never misses this women power. That is Milani Fale. Let's give a big round of applause for Milani. And she has been a devoted, dedicated, strong supporter of women power. Yes, Milani, please start.
Thank you so much, DK. Well, as I was saying today is a extra special day here on Women Power. And I think this is the whole spirit of women power. You know, we're not just about empty hashtags and women empowerment here and there, but then we act. We maybe we don't speak that much. Well, we do also, but we act. And when one of our sisters is going through, I mean, I can't even begin to imagine. This must be the most terrible, tragic, painful, scary thing anyone can go through in their life. I don't think there's anything quite like that. I can't even imagine it. And, you know, I tried to place myself in Farukh's shoes, but it's impossible. You know, the pain we probably had and the grief and the suffering, I know for a fact, DK and myself, this has been one of the most difficult things we've had to deal with, but it's nothing compared to what Farukh has gone through. And I think her testimony today is so important because she has been able to flee, she has been able to seek exile, but so many other people haven't. So many other women are trapped in that absolute tragedy. And we need to give a voice to this. The world needs to do something. And I'm not even going to go into politics or anything. The world needs to do something. This is a human issue. And we cannot just blindly look and say, oh, because it's far away, or because I don't really know anyone there, I don't really care. No, everybody needs to care because we're humans. So having said that, we're also going to bring some light-hearted conversation. It's not all going to be so deep. But Farukh, I want people to understand what your life has been, because you didn't just decide one day, oh, I'm going to be super brave and be courageous and dedicate my life to supporting human rights and then joining the Anti-Corruption Commission. No, you have got here because of your upbringing, your education, your life since you were a child. So to give people an idea and to give all of us context, can you tell us a bit about your childhood? What was it like to be born and grow and be a girl and a teenager in Afghanistan?
Thank you very much, Master Diki, and my best friend, Melania. Thank you for your invitation today. And I'm really appreciated you invited me in this important event. And you know, and the world should know what's the Afghan woman situation in Afghanistan. Thank you. So a little bit I want to tell about my background to you that I was born at Pashtunko district of Faryab province in Afghanistan. So I completed my primary education in Astara High School. It is a large school in Maimana city. So I hold 2 bachelor degree in English literature and another in political science. But you know that for a woman like me, it was not easy to take 2 bachelor degrees in a remote province, which is Maimana city, which is about 850 kilometers far from Afghanistan capital, Kabul. After that, also, I got 1 master's degree in international public law. So I started my first job in 2004 as monitor officer at Afghan National Solidarity Program for Rural Development. In 2007, I worked as the officer in charge of violence against women at Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission in Faryab province. I dealt with dozens of violence against women cases, closely monitored and judicial process, and advocated robustly for the victims' rights. From January to November 2013, I worked as provincial coordinator at an international non-government organization, which is called NCA, Norwegian Church Aid. I implemented several projects of capacity building for the women and also some other projects like women empowerment projects. So from January 2013 until 2019, I worked as human rights officer with the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, which is UNAMA. So in Faryab province, it was my Mana field office. My main duty were monitoring, documenting, and reporting on children in armed conflict, violence against women, detainees' rights, protection of civilians in armed conflict, and also IHL violations. So during 2012, jointly with the AIHRC, so I conducted countrywide research pertaining to honor killing and sexual violence. I documented cases for that research from Faryab, and that I effort and finding culminated in a published report. During my working period, I remained an avid learner, notwithstanding all the challenges. I continued my studies and obtained a master's degree in international public law. During 2012, in coordination with the civil society, I formed civil society forum in Faryab province. Before that, we did not have any forum about the people that did not know about what is the civil society. So I was appointed as an international affairs officer by the civil society members. So during 2012, I formed a women leadership network in Faryab province. So I was elected as deputy by its members as well. Before that, the people did not know what is the leadership of women. They did not respect for the woman even. I also worked as English Persian interpreter with Norwegian forces, Norwegian civilian forces, but not military, in my Mana. As part of my job at Purity, I also addressed the issue of female detainees. So I appeared in several radio and TV programs in Faryab province, and those amplified the voices of women about the challenges women face in Faryab province. I authored several articles on violence against women, and they have been published in Faryab Daily and also Ashta Subi, which is a very public media in Afghanistan. During 2011, I was bestowed upon the Pride of Performance Medal by then ex-President Hamid Karzai in recognition of my services as human rights defender. So currently, unfortunately, I was appointed as commissioner and deputy chairperson of Afghanistan Anti-Corruption Commission. The Taliban took control of Kabul, and I relocated, unfortunately, from Kabul, from Afghanistan to Netherlands.
My goodness, we are in awe of everything you have been able to accomplish with all the difficulties. You know, when I hear these stories, and Farukh, you for me are such an example, because I sometimes feel it's so easy for me to work towards women empowerment where I live, where we have freedom. Of course, there's a lot to do. Of course, we need to change mindsets and education. There is a lot to do, but I cannot compare the efforts I'm making with the efforts you are making on a daily basis. I mean, it's just, it gives us such a perspective. And I think everyone watching, this is why it's so important to do this show today, because we sometimes tend to think that our reality is their reality, and we complain about the smallest things. And, you know, yes, to be able to make changes and, you know, change what's not working, we need to keep moving and probably keep complaining, because we need to be aware of what needs to be changed. But, you know, this just gives us a different perspective. I mean, there are women who are risking their life literally because they're working towards women empowerment and women's rights. And we have it really easy. So just to honor those women, to honor their efforts, I think we all need to go together, grow together, walk together to really make a difference. If we all walk together, we would make a difference so fast, because it's supposed to be a 100-year wait to actually achieve equality in the world. I think it's probably longer if we go at the pace we're going. But if we use the intelligence we have, the education we have, the rights we have in some places, and we help our sisters and the whole of society advance faster, then we can, bridge that gap and do it faster. So that's why it's so important to listen to Farukh today. I mean, it's just...
Thank you, Melania. Thank you for your encouragement.
You're amazing. You really are. And forgive me if I interrupted you, but I just needed...
No problem, no problem, my dear. Go ahead, please.
I think Melanie is equally very courageous and a very powerful lady. But at the same time, when she says that we keep complaining on what we have everything, and we are running shows, we are working, we are eating, we are moving, we are living a normal life as a human being. We deserve to have a normal life. We have come to this world to have a normal life. But look at Afghanistan and look at the background of Farukh, how much she has studied, how much she has struggled, and then attained her excellence wherever she has been, whatever she has been doing. And at the end, she had to run away from the country. Now, Farukh, I have a question. All along when you studied, when you went to the college, you went to the university, as a woman, as a, women folk in that country, maybe during the period when you went to the university, Taliban was not ruling, but there was always a lot of tough situation. How did you manage? What challenges you faced even when you were as a student, as well as when you went to the professional world, contributing to women activists, contributing to various communities, as you said? Because I know you come from Mazar-e-Sharif, that's the place where I went to teach women there. And how did you manage? How was it easy or it was tough?
So, Mr. Dickey, as you hear, probably you did not see that challengeable situation in Afghanistan physically, but I hope that you watched it through by media. But you know that Afghanistan is ranked as the worst place in the world for women to live. Women operate daily under extremely dangerous situation in the country, mainly across Afghanistan. So although as you know that I'm a strong woman, but I'm a strong human rights defender, and also, so I fought for my right and also for the other women's rights in Afghanistan from the long years. However, also I faced too many challenges in Afghanistan. So you know that when the female get out from the house for official business or for some studying, for going to university, for school, for any other ways, they have to wear burqa to protect their face from the public and to hide it, because the Taliban or other extremist groups are the enemy of the women. I myself was UN staff. You know that the UN is the highest standard in the world. The staffs should be free from. But when I was doing my official business, I was using burqa to protect myself from any possible attack from the armed groups. So you know that I received several death threats by armed groups due to my activities with international organizations. But always I fought against all kinds of challenges, and I showed myself a strong woman. But unfortunately, if you heard about in recently years that many human rights activists was killed by armed groups. The media reporters also, the journalists, they killed by armed groups, probably by Taliban or the other groups. You know that about 22 extremes, sorry, 22 insurgency groups are active in Afghanistan. But everyone show their power for the people. Everyone wants to threaten the people, and also they show their power. So unfortunately, we suffering from the many groups they are active in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Milani.
Right, thanks, DK. Yes, so following from that, I know even though, you know, a few of your years in Afghanistan weren't under the Taliban rule, but obviously they have shaped the mindsets, they have shaped the culture. So even if they were not actively ruling, what type of hurdles, what type of struggles did you go through that made you become so courageous, and that made you want to share a message towards women empowerment?
So to be honest, I'm a very hardworking and courageous woman. So although I received serious life threats several times by the armed groups, even they threatened me to kidnap and kill my sons. But I did not stop my human rights activities. I ignored the threats because I knew if I was the only role model for the other women in the province where I was living. If I was afraid and stopped my human rights activities, the other women would not longer dare to appear in the public. So uh, I encourage the woman must be strong and not scared. Our struggle for Afghan women, both inside and outside of Afghanistan, for the freedom and restoration of women rights. If you see during the days from media, you know that dozens of the girls, every day they are going on the street and they are struggling on their freedom of movement, on their rights. You know that the Kabul girls was using Sean girls to protect myself from any must be strong and not scared. Our struggle for Afghan women, both inside and outside of Afghanistan, on their rights. You know that the Kabul girls was using Sean girls to protect myself from any must be strong and not scared. I was using Sean girls to protect myself from any must be strong and not.
Okay, are we back?
Hey,
What's
go
going on
ahead.
in the background?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think that it was some technical problem.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, I think so.
I wanted to
Okay.
copy on the Twitter from Facebook, and it got on. Anyhow, go ahead.
Okay, great. So just I want to tell you that you know that the girls, the Afghan women, and also they stand for their rights. Since several days, the Taliban took control of Afghanistan, particularly Kabul. They not allowed the women to go for their job, and so they restricted the women rights in the cities and also in the Kabul city, which is the capital of Afghanistan. So the girls cannot tolerate that, and every day they protested against the Taliban regime, and also they ask their to respect the human rights, particularly the women rights.
Yes, we've been seeing that on the news, and my goodness,
Yes.
they're so courageous, So courageous. Mhm. Yes. Sorry, DK, I keep interrupting.
Yeah, no, please go, please go ahead. Now, Farukh, tell me what, I mean, you have been the chairperson of anti-corruption department under Ghani government. But we also understand that Afghanistan is said to be very strong in terms of corruption. And this present issue, what has happened, it is said that there has been very large corruption at the top government level. People have made money, and even at the military level, when we talk about 300,000 Afghan military there, but finally it is said that, I mean, we could not see them there to struggle and to save the country. And it's said that it has been a complete corruption to the military as well. Now, when you were at the chairperson of the anti-corruption, and I did talk to you in between during that period about UNDP, as you know, we do a lot of work with United Nations, and UNDP wanted to do programs for this. And at that point of time, we did talk about this kind of a thing. Do you think it's a fact that there has been a huge corruption at the government level, at the top level? People have been there who actually sold the country, or it's a fact? Because when I look at Afghan people otherwise, I have been to Afghanistan, Mazar, Kabul, I've been involved. They're simple people. They are very, very nice people, and especially women are very great. And I have a relationship more than 110, 115 women in the country. And do you think there has been a huge amount of corruption? That's why this has happened.
Thank you, Mr. DK. For your information, I would like to say that the Afghanistan Anti-Corruption Commission was established on November 13, 2020, in accordance with the Geneva Commitments. So Afghanistan was one of the top 10 corrupted country in the world. There was many challenges for me when I started working in this sector, as the most corrupt people were working on high-ranking political positions and were supported by the Office of President. During the period of time whom I worked in Afghanistan Anti-Corruption Commission as a deputy chairperson, I led a very qualified technical research team. And also I work together with my team for investigation or research about the corruption in Hamid Karzai International Airport. So we fortunately we completed our research, and also we completed the report of the research, and we sent to ex-President Ashraf. Unfortunately, that the president fled from Afghanistan, and our report was remained in the presidential palace. I don't know what is its fate. So also, I was monitoring the Ministry of Finance Affairs of Afghanistan. Unfortunately, it was not completed yet. So now I don't know, it will be like this, but I cannot access to Afghanistan Anti-Corruption Commission to complete my remaining works. So during the 8 months since the commission was established, my colleagues and also I have done a great deal in identifying the corrupted persons and proceed their cases. So we were able to report 35 high-ranking government officials, including ministers, members of the parliament, and also deputy of ministries, and the heads of government departments who are also involved in corruption. And their files was completed, and we sent their files to Attorney General for the prosecution. So I believe that if I think that several of them were their cases was sent to the court for implemented the legal the law on them, but unfortunately I don't know what Taliban will do with the corrupt persons, and they will follow their cases. So we worked in the Anti-Corruption Commission, or they will ignore it. I don't know actually yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to wait to see that. Hopefully, all your work, the work you've already made, has a successful ending, because if not, it just feels
sure. So Melania and Mr. Diki, you know that I had many plans to restore Afghans' money from the corrupted persons when I was working as deputy chairperson. I had planned to sign a memorandum of understanding with several countries where the Afghan people were traveling, and they have investment their budget in that countries like Turkey, like United Nations Arab, and also United Emirates, Arabic countries, sorry, and also Pakistan, India, and also Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and some of other countries that. So unfortunately, all my plans remained incomplete, and also I don't know what will be for with the corrupted persons who also they took away the money of Afghan people and outside of the country, and they investment with the people money in the other countries. I don't know what the Taliban's plan for that, and they will sign some memorandum of understanding with other countries to restore the money or no. Actually, it's very important that still I'm thinking about the Afghan people money.
Of course, you are. That needs to be followed up and see what happens. And you were saying you've probably struggled a lot also doing that type of work. I'm sure you were not very popular among many groups, but still you were doing a really hard job, very difficult task there, working in the Anti-Corruption Commission, but nothing compared to what came afterwards, because at least you were free. You could carry out your job, you could go to work every day, even though you had lots of struggles, and your life was already in danger. But to the outside world, it has seemed as all this has unfolded in just a few days. But I mean, I'm sure there's a lot there we don't even know. There's terrible probably control fights and power fights and mindset issues and cultural issues and who knows what. But for you living there, did it unfold as fast as we have perceived it on the news, or did you more or less thought that something like this could happen? How did you live the process? How was it for you?
So, yes, it was on the 14th of August. I went to my office to engage in my official affairs. Most of the time, I was busy with official business and daily meeting, and until 5 and 6 o'clock every day I was busy in the office, and also I was returning home late evening. So it was 4 o'clock when my secretary came to me and said that you should leave office because the security situation in Kabul is not good. I scared and left my office immediately. My computer, my documents, everything was left in my office. The next date was 15th of August, that the security situation in Kabul completely deteriorated. So Taliban entered in Kabul, and it was afternoon. I watched a short video from Dr. Abdullah, the head of Afghan Peace Council, through the Facebook, saying that the President Ashraf Ghani had fled and the Taliban had entered in the presidential palace. He reassured the people not to worry, but for me, the news was really shocking. I was disappointed for a moment. I was feeling my life and the lives of my children in danger. So I was a public figure, and the neighbors where I was living all knew me. I had to leave from my residence house that evening and went in the house of my relatives who had no government duties. 2 days after that, Taliban took control of the Kabul. A group of Taliban came to my house to take weapons and also to take my armed vehicle. They also took my armored vehicle with them. But unfortunately, I did not have any weapon at home. But they searched my house and they could not find anything. So I was very lucky that I was not at home on that period. If I would be there, they would kill me. Because the Taliban are, that they are the enemy of the prominent woman. I hid in my relative's house for a week. I could not eat properly for a week because I had very serious stress. I was afraid of at any moment if the Taliban would come and kill me. Sometimes I was looking from the window outside, and 2, 3 times Mr. Diki also called me and asked about my situation. I told him that I cannot look from the window at the Taliban side because I was feeling that if I look out of uh, uh, the window, I was feeling the Taliban is looking me and they come and kill me because it was really the serious scaring. Within a week, I emailed for the dozens of the embassies in immigrants' countries. So I applied for asylum. Fortunately, on the night of August 22, it was at 3 o'clock in the middle night, probably in morning time. I received a phone call and also an email from Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so which my family and I had accepted and invited me to come to Kabul airport for relocate me from Kabul to Netherlands. So my family and I tried to get the Kabul airport, and that the crowd I saw at the airport, it shocked me. I did not think I would pass through this large crowd and enter the airport. I passed through all these people inside an hour, only 1 hour, and approached to the gate where the Dutch police were standing. According to the instruction given to us by email, my sons shouted loudly at the Dutch soldiers, Holland, Holland, for 3 times they said, Holland, Holland, Holland. Suddenly, the Dutch police noticed and pointed us to give our passport to him. After the check, he allowed to enter the gate. You know that our only way out was across the airport gate. For the first time in my life, I witnessed death with my eyes. My sons and I can never forget that moment when our lives were in danger. I was completely disappointed and lost my hope. Probably on that day, if I cannot enter the gate, I believed that I was killed because the situation was very tough. But that time is really forgettable for me.
Farukh, have courage. Farukh, you are a brave woman, Farukh. Farukh, we need to look at those women who are stranded there, who are in cage there, who are in prison there. Farooq, there are many women who do not respond to my WhatsApp. They are not able to see. I don't know whether they are alive. I don't know whether they have an access to internet. I don't know where they are in the country or they're outside the country. I don't know whether they are really alive. There are 30, 35 women who are still in touch. Some are in US, some are in Canada, some are in Germany, some have arrived in India, and some have arrived in Sri Lanka. But there are many women who are not there. So you are brave. God has given you life. Hey, laugh. Hey, cheer up. Farooq, cheer up. Farooq.
Thank you, Mr. Diki. For your information, I would like to tell you that you know that we had many brave women in Afghanistan, and they fought against their rights, for the all the human rights, for the women rights. Unfortunately, I don't think that if the 10% of the human rights activists could leave Afghanistan and they go to the other countries like the European and also America and other countries. Majority of the human rights defenders still in Kabul, but they're scaring, but they're worrying about their future. You know, the Taliban announced that they not allow the women to come and to take the high positions, like the key positions in their government. Unfortunately, this is really the sad news for us, but the women who fight for their rights for the 20 years and they hope for their future, unfortunately now they lost their hope. But still they are waiting for any moment of their probably any possible attack from the Taliban side on them. But still they are waiting, but the no other countries responded to their asylum seeking. They are every day, they're contacting with me. We have a network in Afghanistan. Still, I'm one of they're the part of the network. Every day I'm getting their message, and they tell to any woman who got out from Afghanistan to the other European and American and other countries, they seek safety from there, then support from there, and they tell the woman, please advocate for our rights and to tell to the countries to take out us from Afghanistan. But unfortunately, the international community keeps silence for the Afghanistan, for the Afghans. Every day that the women are the victims, unfortunately, the international community is not advocating for their rights and they're keeping silent. I'm very sorry for that.
I think you have made a very important point, and I fully support you. But then there are certain governments who are fighting, who are still talking, who are still. Tell me, who is to be blamed for this? When I look at Pakistan, which is a terrorist,
Um, I think that yes, I think China and Pakistan are the two countries that they are supporting Taliban. I see and hear through the media that Pakistan is the biggest supporter of the Taliban. Since the many years, Pakistan was training the Taliban and in its madrasas and was sending them back to Afghanistan in the name of jihad. Although 99% of Afghans are Muslim, but how possible the Muslim countries announced a jihad against each other? This is really crazy, but Pakistan did it for Afghanistan. After the Taliban took control of the Kabul, the head of Pakistan's ISI came to Kabul for a few days and was a guest of the Taliban in presidential palace. It means that the Pakistan is supporting the Taliban. So for the long years, the Afghans are raising their sounds and they blame that Pakistan is the greatest supporter of the Taliban, but no the other countries support Afghans. They not agree with Afghans. Even US also killed Al-Qaeda leader in Pakistan. But on that time also the other countries not in reaction against Pakistan. But we had a hashtag with the name of Sanction Pakistan. But unfortunately, the international community not respected our demands and they kept silent. But it's true. We says that Pakistan is the greatest supporter of Taliban. If they not equipped the Taliban, how on access to the equipped, military equipped? And also in recently, China is also shown its support from the Taliban. China invited the leader of the Taliban in China, and also he supported the Taliban. I don't know why they do that. Why they could support the tourist groups, but I don't know what is their future plan for that. I'm very sorry for that. These countries destroyed our country. Now I'm very sad for my country. We had a freedom country, but now even a woman does not have right to go outside without any company. The women lost their freedom. The women lost their jobs. The women lost their men even. You know that during the long time war in Afghanistan, many dozens of the people, the men are tired, but they had wife, they had mother, they had sister, they had daughter, but the women lost their breadwinners. So it's really sad in Afghanistan. This is the I don't know how the other countries forgive themselves. I don't know. I'm very sorry for that.
You have said it, Farukh. You have said it very clearly. Yes.
Yes,
You feel sad for your country, and in a way, we feel ashamed of part of humanity, because it's all very nice to say we support human rights, we support women's rights, but you need to show it when it's needed. So it's, yes, absolutely something we cannot begin to understand. And that leads me to the next question, because during the first few days when the Taliban took over, they were showing a very mild face in the news, in the press. I mean, I definitely didn't believe that, but the world seemed to believe it. What is your take on this? How do you think the Taliban are going to rule? And is there any hope for people in Afghanistan?
So as I follow the Taliban through the media, the Taliban explicitly stated that they do not allow women to hold key positions. They clearly announced that. The Taliban changed only in words, not in deeds or action. As you can see in the media, the Taliban blocked the demonstration of women and girls in Kabul and other provinces. With the bullets, they fire on them, tear gases, and also whipping. Thousands of our young people were killed during the 20 years of the war. Families lost their breadwinners. Young women became widows. Mothers lost their young boys. When Taliban took control of Afghanistan, all the officials and people who were working in different government and non-government organizations lost their jobs. The Taliban announced that government employees should return to their duties, but the Taliban did not allow them to enter when they returned to work. Taliban lay. The Taliban declared a general amnesty in the provinces under their control after taking control of Afghanistan. They did not act what did they say. And recently, if you hear from the media, Taliban have killed a female police officer at her home in front of her children and husband in Ghor province. Afghanistan faces in severe economic crisis. People do not have access to their basic necessities of life, which are food and medicine. Human rights are being severely violated in my country, unfortunately. I hope that the international community pays serious attention to Afghanistan and put pressure on the Taliban not to ignore women's rights in the current system and to respect the women rights in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, Taliban is not right. Always they lay for the media to take the international community's support. We do not believe them.
Of course not. No, and nobody should. Yeah, right. Again, very clearly stated for anyone who wants to listen and understand. We just hope the right people who have the power to change things are also listening. Definitely. Over to you, DK.
No, we're getting clear understanding of what this Taliban is going to be, and Pakistan and China supporting. Tell me, how does a government look like when there is a minister sting who have on their head millions of dollars, millions of dollars, terrorists, one head is equivalent to millions of dollars. How will that country become partner to other countries? What is finally going to be the situation when we look at the government, the head, as well as the ministers, whose head just 10 days back by the same American was looking for $1 million, and today he becomes the Minister of Safety. What is your view? What do you think, Farukh? Will this be? I fully agree you are saying sanction Pakistan, hashtag sanction Pakistan. I fully agree you are saying that world is still looking as a spectator, not taking action. And Milani is rightly saying we can keep on talking about women empowerment and human rights, but actually what is happening, nobody is taking action. Most of the countries still are just watch and watch. But somewhere something has to be done. And you have seen India has been always supporting Afghanistan, so much of investment for the infrastructure. But India is also thinking what to do. But India declared, okay, we are open to receiving the immigrants from Afghanistan, and they opened the visas and they help a lot of women to come into the country. There are a lot of women already in India, and a lot of people from Afghanistan have already come. I also hashtag to Prime Minister Modi, and I think within the next few days, we had this thing going on. So how do you feel this government taking shape, and do you see some hopes?
So thank you, Master DK. You know that US came to Afghanistan 20 years ago, and it was clear that the United States was leaving Afghanistan for one day. So also, if you remember that Britain and also former Soviet Union have been in Afghanistan for several years in the past, and then they faced resistance from the people, and they were forced also to leave Afghanistan. But U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan was completely different from other like Britain and also like Soviet Union. And Afghanistan also experienced a serious crisis in its history. Sorry. If you watch in media that people were terrified, young people were hung on the wings of US military flight and tried to leave the country. Unfortunately, several of our young boys crashed from the airplane and lost their lives. which is the first time in the history of Afghanistan that such heartbreaking incident occurred. So we expected the United States leaving Afghanistan responsibly and keep sustains our 20 years achievements and helping Afghanistan for peace and stability. Unfortunately, US left our country very hastily and also put Afghans into a humanitarian and also economic crisis.
Yeah.
But the main responsibility for this collapse and economic crisis is Mr. Ashraf Ghani, the ex-president of Afghanistan, who left the country with the cash of the people, as the Taliban was not ready and not familiar with the system and government. So I and the other people of Afghanistan say that Ghani, the Afghanistan ex-president, is the main responsible for this crisis. If Ghani control the Afghanistan budget, and also if he has managed the military units and also the civilians units, but this kinds of crisis must not be happened in Afghanistan. Unfortunately, US and also Mr. Ghani both are responsible for Afghanistan crisis. We never forgive him because he put for many challenges us. This crisis divided Afghanistan for pieces in the world. You know that Afghan people divided in the world. Everyone wanted to leave Afghanistan, to leave homeland and to save their lives. As I myself now came in the Netherlands to save my life and my kids' life. I believe that the world watching Afghanistan for this crisis, it's not easy for Afghans. It's not easy for a person to live his life, to live his achievements, and to flee just save her lives or his lives. You think about that. It's not easy.
Yes.
We had 300,000 military. All of them were equipped. Actually, there is a rumor that when Taliban did not want to for negotiation with Afghanistan government, and they forced to take Afghanistan by military and by fighting. On that time, when they started to capture the districts, but Afghanistan government was neglecting for that. They not allow to the national security forces to fight with Taliban.
Oh.
We hear that the government authorities, the military authorities, called to the Afghanistan National Army who are fighting in the front line. They say that please don't fight with Taliban. You know, many ANSF, it means that Afghan National Security Forces, they posted some short videos in the Facebook. They were crying and they were telling that I don't want to give my weapon to the Punjab people. Why Punjab come to my country? This is my country. I want to fight against him. But his commander was forcing him to give your weapon to him, to the Taliban. This is unforgivable.
Very sad. Very sad.
Very sad. We had very brave soldiers in Afghanistan. If the authorities allowed them, they will fight against the Taliban. They will not be tired to fighting because they were fighting for their homeland, for their motherland. No one wants to sell his mother or her mother. It's shame. But unfortunately, authorities are very weak and they force the security troops to not fight against the Taliban, and they should be surrounded to them. It is the truth that we heard from the media and from the other people, but probably that's true that.
Okay, Milani, we have been an hour now. Get into the closings.
Yes.
What's the last question? And maybe I can also.
Yes, yes.
This is painful. We can carry on. This is painful story, and I'm happy Farukh is alive with her kids, and there are many women who are stranded. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless after hearing Farukh. Yeah, Milani.
Thank you, DK. Yes, and I want to thank Farukh again because her account of affairs is giving us a first-hand, look into what was going on, because from the outside, there's so much we don't understand, and there's so much we will never be able to know, obviously. But just the way the Afghan military and the police didn't fight back, that's the story we have on the news here. They just gave in, they just didn't fight. They didn't put on a fight or anything, but you are giving us the reasons why. So, and it probably also has to do a lot with psychology of terror. I mean, there's so many factors that have made this terrible crisis happen. It's not just one thing, it's so many things. And to end this, my last question, I want to also bring hope. I think we need to be very aware of what's going on and how we can still help those people who are still there. And that fight is not going to end on our side. But we also want to bring hope to those who have been able to flee and seek asylum, just as you, Farukh. And we want to know what your new life looks like. I want to celebrate your new life. I know it must be the hardest thing to leave your homeland, everything you've grown to love, the environment where you have thrived, where you have built a very successful career for yourself, where your children have grown. And now you have to start all over again in a matter of hours. You had to make that decision. I have to change my life in order to stay alive. Tell us about your new life now in the Netherlands, in Holland, and how can we support you? How can we support you?
Thank you, Melania. First of all, I want to use this chance and do thank from the people and the government of Netherlands who helped me and my family in a very bad situation. At the moment, the government is helping me, so still I'm in the camp and I'm waiting for the chance to receive the home from Netherlands. But I want to find job, and also I want to continue my studies to learn the Dutch language. I want to work and stand on my own feet because I used to work from my childhood until now. So to help other women in my homeland and to be effective human. So work for my human and also work for my children. And also it's very great a chance for us that my sons will study here and they will be man for their future. It's a great opportunity for them. I'm very happy for that. So my sons also, they're talented boys, and I hope that they very soon they engage with the society in Dutch in the Holland. So also myself, you know that I will continue my human rights activities from here, and I will advocate for human rights, for women rights of Afghanistan from Holland. I will engage with women networks around the European. I hope that you support me to join with you in global talent and other and also the other women rights networks, and please help me to raise the sounds of Afghan women, and we together work for Afghan women So I hope that we can make another change in Afghanistan from here. So because I'm a strong woman and I believe that I will stand in my feet as well.
Bravo, my darling, bravo. You are such an example, and you know you have a support in anything that you need. Luckily, the one good thing that I'm actually happy about is that you used to be very far away from me, and now we're actually quite close. So hopefully we will be able to meet in person soon. And I just want to celebrate your newfound freedom. You are going to thrive wherever you are because you are a star. And I'm just so happy for your boys, for your children, because they are going to be able to create a free life for themselves. So all my support, and
thank you
over
very
to
much.
you, DK.
Thank you, Melania. Really appreciate it.
Farukh, you spoke very well and you said what your plans are. And you asked for the support from Melanie and me.
Thank you.
And
sure.
Melanie already supported you because she's part of the Women Power Global Movement. And hand on my heart, always ready to support you for anything. Not only you, the women across the world, and especially right now, the women in Afghanistan, wherever they are. Some of the women in India are already in touch with me who have arrived. We are supporting you. And we will certainly support you. And please keep raising your voice in the European Union, wherever you are.
Sure.
And this platform is yours. Whenever you wish to have a dialogue with anywhere, just send a message to me or to Melanie or to Varsha, anywhere.
I will.
And we are there to support you. Say, I need a Zoom connection. I want to address women around the world. I want to do this. Hashtag Women Power is always part of your activity. And to back home in Kabul, we will certainly, today I spoke to one of the women in Kabul, as she is completely in a jail in her house. Her family does not, she's the only daughter, and she was getting married in the month of October. And she wants to run away, but she's hopefully getting visa to India. I don't want to name her at this point of time. And she has also been part of my training program in Mazar-e-Sharif. And so there are a lot of women still who are struggling. But your idea is good, to raise the voice, support women of Afghanistan. That should be your mission of your life. Of course, your children can grow and engage, and you keep studying. We feel, as Melania tells you, you are a star.
Thank you.
And I tell you, frankly, you are a star.
I don't be tired of the studying. You know that 22 years I have studied.
So for me, you are one of a very great role models.
Thank you.
I respect you, I regard you, and I love you from the core of my heart.
Thank you very much.
And I'm now jealous that Melania, you are just 1.5 hours flight away.
Yes,
I am far, but I am going to come as air opens up. I'm going to come.
I'm really lucky that I'm very close to Melania.
Yeah.
Some days, if I get my document, I will fly to visit Melania in Spain.
Yes,
I hope so.
You should. And I am far. I am unfortunate, but I will fly there. And in case everything goes fine, once your documents and all that, then I can call you to India to speak.
Sure.
And don't worry about it. So hashtag Women Power, a global movement. Global Talent Company is always supportive of you. I will still be using you for many things in United Nations, various programs, especially in Africa and other places. Once the air opens, you know what's going on. Things are not still moving ahead because of certain waves. And now this Afghanistan. So having said that, feel free to connect anytime.
Sure.
We are there to support you. Melanie has given full commitment. I am giving full commitment. Reach my office, reach Melanie, reach me anytime. I wish you all the best. God takes care of you. We pray for all the women of Afghanistan to be safe.
Thank you.
That's what I can say.
Thank
Pray
you
to
very
God.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hashtag Women Power, a global moment around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a very tough evening for us. Me and Melania are not used to these tough evenings. We normally do a lot of fun and frolic and blah, 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 blah. We entertain people on our shows. But today was something which was very tough because our Women Power lady from Afghanistan has been through a lot of pain, and she's saved, and we are happy, and we are laughing, we are smiling, we are delighted that her life is saved. And when your life is saved, everything is possible.
Thank you.
Well,
Melanie, close the program. Tell the world.
absolutely. I would love to do that. And Farukh, you have a new fan in Rashmi Raturi. She's left so many beautiful comments for you. I think after the live show, you probably want to go
She's in
and look at
Thailand. She's in
Facebook.
Thailand. She's in Thailand.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
wonderful.
Thank you. I'm really appreciated her. Thank you.
Yes, you are touching hearts, and I know this. You know, this interview is going to reach the people who need to change things and the people who need to be inspired, because you are also an inspiration for those women who are still there, but they will be able to flee. And you are such a great example of what they can achieve. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm so happy for you. So happy for you. It's been quite an emotional show. And I know we had to go, you know, and speak about all the hardships, obviously, but I want to end this on a positive note. Like, there is life, you know, all the possibilities open up when you are able to live in freedom. You are so talented, and you have the support you're going to need. So we just want to encourage you and wish you the very best. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Melania.
Very generous with us and sharing all your accounts. And DK, being part of Women Power is just full of surprises, isn't it? Oh my goodness, you see the worst and the best of humanity, and you know, that just makes us want to keep going and keep doing things.
Yeah, this is the worst one. This is the worst one. This is the worst one. I know Farukh for so long, and I don't know what to say, Farukh.
Thank you, Mr. Dicky, for your always support.
Probably when we meet.
I really appreciate it. I'm the member of the Global Talents Program. Thank you for.
Okay.
Okay, Farukh, keep shining, keep inspiring all the women in the world. Keep supporting your Afghan women. We will do our part also. And to everybody watching, thank you so much for being here with us Saturday after Saturday.
Thank you.
And especially today, because this has been truly special. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.